loved ones. Welcome back for another episode of SOS, Saturday of Spirituality. I'm Neshama of IamNeshama.com, where we help you develop a spiritual approach to life, creativity, and personal growth.
Warning, warning. The following 5 statements are complete and utter nonsense. Sheer ridiculousness.
There's something seriously wrong about a 40-year-old man still living at home with his mother. Women with short hair just tend to be very masculine. I mean, can you even call them women? Art is a hobby, not a career. Period. It is 2016. If you don't have some sort of educational ambition or vision for your life beyond a spouse, a house, and kids, or at least an opinion about something, you're a complete waste of oxygen. It's called a tomato, not a tomato. There are certain ideas and beliefs that are promoted in society that are completely counterproductive to spiritual development. In today's episode of SOS, I want to discuss with you opinions. More specifically, this notion that everybody's opinion matters and that we all should have opinions and that it's our duty to validate these opinions either by action or by getting others to agree. There is a natural occurring dichotomy to the human condition. This is because to be human is to be both spirit and flesh at the same time. And although these two exist together as one unit, the relationship between the two is anything but effortless. Both the spirit and the flesh have a nature that is very distinct from each other and not necessarily complementary to each other. So let me define spiritual development as I understand it. Spiritual development is the process by which we reconcile the inconsistencies between the nature of the spirit and the nature of the flesh, and in doing so, begin to recognize our authentic selves, uncompromised by circumstance, situation, and other things that are temporary. This is important because this is what allows us to honor ourselves and honor the world around us. So what does all of this have to do with opinions? Well, I'm glad you asked. As a people, we are very reliant on our inner sense to provide the framework for how we see ourselves, others, and the world around us. And when we go through experiences and we engage with ourselves and we engage with others, this inner sense is triggered. The trouble is that it's triggered in both the spirit and the flesh. Now, the nature of the spirit is predisposed to absolute truths, while the nature of the flesh is predisposed to relative truths. So which perspective do we choose and allow to guide us as we engage with our lives? Well, in areas of ourselves where we're more resolved one way or the other, the answer for that question will pass right through us, oftentimes without us even noticing. However, areas where we're less resolved will spring up in us in the form of opinions. So opinions are actually the byproduct of the unreconciled inconsistencies between the spirit and the flesh. This is why we're always seeking to validate our opinions, so we can move them from this disturbing, ambiguous state into one that allows us to feel more united and more whole. There's nothing wrong with opinions or having them. But opinions were meant to change over time through examination, exploration, and experiences. so that they could then evolve into truths that are not determined by the temporary state of the times, situations, and circumstances. So when society actively promotes having an opinion for opinion's sake and validating opinions through action and persuasion, then opinions become less of a point on the roadmap of spiritual development and more of a roadblock built by stubbornness and overstimulated sentiment. So how can we use this understanding to counteract the impact that our cultural understanding of opinions has on our spiritual development?
First, sort through your opinions. Ask yourself, is this opinion springing up from me, or is it one that's been superimposed on me by my environment? Second, line up your opinions with your spiritual goals. Does holding this opinion diminish your spiritual development or move you further in your journey? And lastly, don't be afraid to change your mind. Stubbornness just keeps us at a standstill, and that's no good to any of us.
Thank you for watching another episode of SOS, Saturday of Spirituality. Hopefully something that I touched on will help you in your journey towards spiritual development. Until next week, I'm Neshama of IamNeshama.com, reminding you to hold your opinions. Don't let your opinions hold you.